So what is success? For most people, it's financial abundance and the acquisition of material possessions. But I quite like to define success by achieving this mental state that is highly desired by anyone, to be honest, where you feel constant joy and freedom. So not the possession of things that make you happy, but rather just feeling happy for no outside reason, like an unconditional happiness and a sense of freedom, which I will explain later in a bit more details. I think where a lot of people get confused is the fact that money can help us feel better. It can get us to certain places. It can sort of make us happier by allowing us to be able to get certain things, provide a comfortable living, sort of giving us the opportunity to do fun stuff that are not always available for people who experience financial difficulties or, a shortage of cash. But so many famous and rich people admit that even when they had everything, they had it all, they felt unhappy. And that made people wonder where happiness truly comes from. Luckily, it has nothing to do with financial abundance, meaning that you should have the ability to make yourself feel happy, regardless of where you come from or where you are at in your life right now. Regardless of what you have or don't have, if you're rich or poor, if you're pretty or not pretty, it is your birthright to be happy. Creating this inner joy, achieving happiness, has been the main focus for many spiritual leaders and teachers, and they all agree that it comes from within. It shouldn't be conditional. I personally think it's nothing more than a conscious decision. I've seen poor people living a very simple lifestyle, or people struggling with different health issues, and still looking like they were happy. And I've seen rich, pretty, seemingly healthy people who were just totally miserable. We all struggle with achieving happiness. We all experience sadness and depression at times. But a happy life doesn't have to be like constant happiness. It can be a collection of lots of happy memories, sort of interrupted by less joyful experiences or even sadness or even depression at times, as long as we experience happiness the majority of the times. And those memories define how we remember our past or just yesterday, filled with happy memories, joyful events. The other key factor for me to define success is the feeling of freedom. And knowing that happiness is a conscious decision gives me a sense of freedom too. It means that my happiness only depends on me, my willingness, my determination, my mindset, and nothing else. It doesn't depend on anything or anyone else. Now, if your goal is to become financially independent, to give you a sense of freedom, then you may start your own company or do freelancing. But I think it's still a dependent lifestyle because you're going to be depending on getting clients, providing a certain service or a product. You're also going to be depending on your earning potentials, even your health and money itself. And there are those who wish to come totally free from society and other people's expectations, to live a totally independent life from money, banks, jobs. Those people are probably going to be chasing an off-grid lifestyle, which can be total freedom until you realize that you are still dependent on your food source. Even if you don't have to go to stores anymore, but you depend on all the work you have to put into farming and dependent on the weather, the soil. So I think we should redefine freedom to something that gives a truly liberating feeling in itself. So I started to think of freedom as someone who knows and lives the law of attraction, being aware of my own ability to create my own experiences, my reality, my circumstances, my possessions, my body, my health, and most importantly, to be able to manage my feelings and being able to make this conscious decision to be happy. I'm not saying I'm good at achieving this state and achieving it all the time, but just knowing and believing that I can, and it's all up to me, gives this ultimate sense of freedom. Realizing this potential power within and working on exercising it. It gives such a huge relief, to be honest. At least to me, knowing that it is something I can have access to, no matter where I am at in my life right now. Knowing that life doesn't happen to me, but it happens for me, and I have total control and power over the outcome and how I let things make me feel. It is so liberating and so empowering that it already brings me joy and gives me a total sense of freedom. So happiness and freedom, those are the biggest achievements. The key ingredients for me to feel that I have achieved success and lived a successful life. And knowing that it's all a question of my mindset and basically a decision that I get to make, it's just so liberating and so empowering. So my question to you is, how do you define success? If you want a more intimate content and daily communication, please go and join my Facebook group called Kinga Kramer and Friends.